1 Kings chapter 17 verses 10 to 16. The widow made a little cake from her flour and gave it to Elijah. He arose and went to Zarephath. When he arrived at the entrance of the city, a widow was there gathering sticks. He called out to her, "Please bring me a small cupful of water to drink." She left to get it, and he called after her, "Please bring along a crust of bread." She said, "As the Lord your God lives, I have nothing baked. There is only a handful of flour in my jar and a little oil in my jug. Just now I was collecting a few sticks to go in and prepare something for myself and my son. When we have eaten it, we shall die." Elijah said to her, "Do not be afraid. Go and do as I have said. But first, make me a little cake and bring it to me. Afterwards, you can prepare something for yourself and your son. For the Lord, the God of Israel, says, the jar of flour shall not go empty, nor the jug of oil run dry, until the day when the Lord sends rain upon the earth." She left and did as Elijah had said. She had enough to eat for a long time, he and she and her household. The jar of flour did not go empty, nor the jug of oil run dry, according to the word of the Lord spoken through Elijah. Elijah appears in the first episode of 1 Kings chapter 17 without introduction, and after the delivery of God's message to Ahab announcing a drought. Since Ahab doesn't like the message, nor his need to return to godly ways, he decides to kill the messenger, Elijah. At the direction of God, Elijah runs beyond Ahab's jurisdiction to the Wadi Kireb, and then to the town of Zarephath in Sidon. God had commanded a widow there to feed him. He meets the widow at the city gates and asks for a cup of water. Then he asks for a piece of bread. Yes, this is the widow who will take care of Elijah. Elijah was the most famous and dramatic of Israel's prophets. He predicted the beginning and end of the 3-year drought. He took God's side in everything. He appeared with Moses and Jesus at the Transfiguration. Ahab was a wicked king, but he is known more for the woman he married, Jezebel. Jezebel came from Sidon, a pagan country. She was an enthusiastic worshiper of the Phoenician god Baal. She persuaded Ahab to join her in worshiping Baal. The persecution of non-Baal believers was so bad that hundreds of prophets hid in caves. What was Elijah's message? 1 Kings chapter 17 verse 1. Elijah the Tishbite from Tishbe in Gilead said to Ahab, "As the Lord, the God of Israel lives, whom I serve, during these years there shall be no dew or rain except at my word." The author of 1 Kings chapter 16 verse 33 tells us that Ahab did more to anger the Lord, the God of Israel, than any of the kings of Israel before him. Elijah, at the direction of God, pours gasoline on the already burning rage of Jezebel's fire of hatred. He tells the prophets of Baal that his God is more powerful than their God, and challenges them to a test of their God's power at Mount Carmel. The contest rules. Each side would build an altar, prepare a sacrifice. No one would light the sacrificial fire. The real God would send fire. Whoever lost died. The real God would protect his prophets. Baal's prophets prayed, danced, and cut themselves. This went on until the afternoon. Elijah built the altar, prepared the sacrifice. Then, to add drama to the demonstration, he had the sacrifice soaked with water 3 times. Then he prayed. Fire came down from heaven, and the whole altar, including the stones, were incinerated. Jezebel was still the real power in the land. She was furious with Elijah for killing all of Baal's prophets. She sent Elijah a message that she would have him killed the next day. Again, God tells Elijah to run for his life to Mount Sinai. Matthew chapter 17 verse 20. He, Jesus, said to them, "For truly I say to you, If you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, "Move from here to there," and it will move, and nothing will be impossible to you. As you can see, following God's direction always works. Maybe not as you thought or when you thought it should work, but it works according to God's plan and purpose for your life.